Welcome everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. This is episode 10 of the now newly named, let me get the count, wrong one, that way it's reversed on this, Mullet Over show. You guys picked it, I appreciate the input, because on that note, without you guys, this show's pointless, isn't it? So thank you very much for getting involved, it's everybody's show. Let me know where you're watching from. Thank you very much to all the people tuning in. I am in the chat, I can see it. So thank you so much, let me know where you're watching. So let's get down to it. In today's show, boom, we should have some like music over the top of this. I'll try and find that later. In today's show, we have Simon Shaw from Simon Shaw's Education, a former RD artist mentor, former president of the fellowship, still involved with these projects. But I want to bring him on because I've got some interesting topics today. I want to talk about, is the hairdressing industry doing enough to keep its employees? That's number one. There's a few things. How are we encouraging the next generation of hairdressers? Are we falling out of love with hairdressing? Are the people here in this chat that have considered other avenues? Are you still obsessed with hair? Put a yes in the comments if you are, because I hope you are, because I am as well. But we can't move forward unless we address the situations that some people might be facing, and I want to keep everybody in this industry because it's been everything for me. It's important for me. But yeah, Simon Shaw's coming on. We're going to talk about whether we concentrate too much on clients, not enough about staff. Are we evolving in the correct manner? We've got to talk about everything hairdressing related. And if you didn't know that there is life from other than just behind the chair, then we want to help you. We want to encourage you. And me and Simon are going to put heads together and talk about things. And like I said, not just the positives of the industry, but how we can help change it for future positives. So without further ado, I will welcome on my friend Simon Shaw. So thanks for joining me, Simon. Pleasure to have you on, mate. How are you?
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Simon. I'm really good to see you.
I know, yeah,
really well, I have to say.
Thank you, mate. I've put some lockdown weight on, but I'll get rid of it after, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You got cycling. You got cycling though, don't you?
Cycling. I've been doing a bit of running actually, Si. Which for me, I used to do running years ago, but first lockdown got into it, then didn't do it, and then got into it this second, the latest lockdown. Really got into it.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I'd be excited to know if our audience have done anything to distract themselves, the people that are watching this now. Put in your comments if you have. So just to introduce yourself, I met you 4 years ago, maybe 5 nearly. But it was at the L'Oreal RD team.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite fitting to mention that the reason we met is because you was teaching me how to present.
Yeah, that is kind of one of the things that I do, is work with people on their presentation skills. And that ID artist program in particular, when I look out into the industry and I see people that are succeeding, like yourself now, a lot of them have been through that program.
Yeah.
And it was, as you know, it was a 2-year program, and part of it was presentation skills. So yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. Although I have to say, Si, the last thing I remember is you and I, late one night, putting the world to rights in a bar in Leeds, I think it was.
We did, talking football and hairdressing and L'Oreal and all of it. And I'm grateful that I'm still within the L'Oreal group. I'm at the Matrix side of it now, but I'm still within the group.
Yeah.
So it's incredible. But yeah, tell us about yourself. Like, why would people know you if they don't know you already?
Well, so the short story is, I had did my career. I actually started as a barber. Interesting. Notice that you doing tons of men's hair as well. Then I went to Vidal Sassoon, retrained, opened my first salon when I was 24. Grew that company with a business partner. Grew that company. We had 13 salons, about 300 staff. Sold my shares in that about 10 years ago. Company's still going, but I sold my shares, and I started Simon Shaw Education. Got involved with the L'Oreal. I was always involved with L'Oreal anyway, but started doing much more education for them, presentation skills, management training, how to run your salon. Actually just written and about to launch with another ex-ID artist, actually, a girl called Leanne Humphreys. Program called Management Magic. It's like a 6-week course that we do online of how to run your salon. Also got involved with the Fellowship for British Hairdressing, and I've just finished a 2-year stint as being the chairman of that.
Wow.
So,
well, we'll come into the fellowship because that's a massive part of this show. But before we get into that, kind of just want to talk about why I've got you on.
Yeah.
And the reason I've got you on is because, as you just said, you've got this wealth of experience, but mainly because you actually don't do hair as much as you do other things in the industry nowadays. I think hair would become a secondary part. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I probably do, when I was, before lockdown, I was probably doing about 12 clients a week.
Yeah. So there you go. That's incredible, really, because this is why I wanted to bring you on, because I don't want to just sort of skirt over things anymore and just talk about it, because this is a lockdown show. We've named it aptly Mullet Over. The audience decided that name.
Very good.
Yeah, I thought it was good, actually, to be fair. So we decided to have a bit of a chat about things, and the reason I'm bringing it in is because obviously the pandemic has brought 10%, and obviously that is going to grow, of salons to its knees. Have unfortunately had to close for good. Now, I expect that number to grow, not necessarily in this lockdown, but maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, because of the recovery and the bills and the VAT and everything that's going to, impact us for the future. But before we get on to that part of it, I kind of just want to ask your opinion on: do you think that this pandemic has not just sort of forced the hand of some salons, but it's also brought to the table a lot of other problems that we might have been facing before this, and we're definitely facing now after this? I'll let you put your point across before I ask you sort of examples. But
well, it's interesting, Simon, because I mean, it is really sad if somebody loses their business.
Yeah.
It is incredibly sad. I think the hairdressing market, from my experience, what I've doing training all over the world, but also a lot in this country, different parts of this country, the hairdressing market is very fragmented.
Yeah.
And what we see on social media is everybody being successful, and everybody's got a successful salon, and we see lots of big salons and big salon groups. The reality is the market is made up of a lot of small businesses with between 5 and 10 staff. I think the average salon has, like I say, between 5 and 10 staff. I think there's what happens in hairdressing traditionally is somebody gets trained and then thinks, I want to run my own business. They don't have a lot of business training. I'm not saying that's their fault, but they kind of open this salon without thinking about the business and the money and the financial side of it. They've got a lot of artistic ideas. They're incredibly creative, incredibly hardworking, but without an understanding of business, it's difficult to make that work. Now, obviously, what the pandemic's done is that has really been highlighted. I'll give you an example. I was doing a seminar not in the south, in a different part of the country, and I asked people what they'd like to get from the course, and I also asked them to put their hands up who had a computer in their salon to run the appointments and to run the stock and everything like that. I think there were 12 people on the course. One person put their hand up.
Wow.
Now, we think everybody's got a computer and everybody's got a marketing database and everybody's got a computerized till and everything like that. And that's not the case.
No, the long and short of it is that we are going digital. This is, the start of the next generation of digital for me. Are we going to even have that much cash through us till anymore? People are paying contactless nowadays. I don't remember the last time I went to a cash machine.
100%. Me too. I mean, I pay on my watch. I've got to be careful, probably like yourself. I'm in a situation where I need to be careful. So contactless. And I think, it's probably it's a bit of a tricky subject, that, Simon, but I think a lot of salons have relied on cash. Not the people, probably you and I know, but a lot of salons I see rely on cash.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a small working town, mill town as they call it up here, in Burnley, and we have a small salon, and people still predominantly. Well, no, it's not predominantly anymore. I've noticed a shift definitely, but we still get quite a lot of cash compared to some salons, like you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that cash flow stopped for whatever reason, and I know what you're saying, but if that cash flow stopped, it makes a massive change in the way we run our business.
Yeah.
Because not just us, it's the repercussions on the other people's businesses that I pay cash to, and so on and so forth. But
Exactly.
yeah, so I agree with you there, and I don't really know how we fix that problem because I don't think we can. I think that it's going, cash will disappear anyway, so I don't think there's any point in trying to fix that problem.
Yeah, that was one of the things, Simon, I was talking about was the cash and that thing. But I was talking about the understanding of, like, for instance, if you bring in £100 of your into your business, how much goes in wages, how much goes in stock, how much profit are you actually making? A lot of salon owners don't know their numbers.
No, what is the stat? I think I've read this before. Is it a successful salon usually has between 8 and 15% left as profit?
If you got to 15, you'd be doing really well.
Yeah,
And don't forget that's pre-tax profit.
yeah. And that's a
So
successful. I re-emphasize that word. Successful salons would have 8 to 15% left.
yeah. So you need to know where your money's coming in and where it's going out, because you haven't got a lot of room for margin. You make a mistake and it's very easy to not to have enough money. So back to your question, has the pandemic brought that to the forefront? Yes. I mean, for sure. It's not the only reason salons are shutting. I'd love to know the statistic of those salons that have shut, how many were struggling before the pandemic.
Yeah. That's a real honest answer from some people, and there's a lot of people watching this usually. We get a few thousand watch it. I'd be interested to know if anyone's going to be honest and say that, because I will be honest. I'll put my hand up and say I am not a businessman. I'm an hairdresser that's become a businessman.
Yeah.
And I've learned by losing a salon. I had a business partner that went west, we'll say, and I lost a salon, so I learned a lot more from that than I did ever running the salon.
Probably, I don't know, Simon. I mean, my maths at school was I was just sitting in the back of the class. What does X mean? Didn't have a clue. But once I opened my business, made tons and tons of mistakes, and I got with my business partner to be able to read a profit and loss and a balance sheet, and that took me. I couldn't do maths at school, but that took me till I was probably 26, 27, 28 to be able to do that.
And I think it's fair to say that you had a successful business, so it shows it can be done.
Yeah. I mean, but I'll give you an example, and obviously don't often talk about this sort of thing. I'll give you an example though, Simon, like you say about business partners. I was 24 when we opened the first business in 1984. I saved up £4,000 by doing freelance outside of my main job.
Yep.
And my business partner saved up £4,000. And then we went to an investor. We got £8,000 off him. Yep. So he owned 50% of the business. And then we went to the bank and borrowed some money to open the salon.
Okay.
I think the total openings was £32,000 in 1984. We paid the loan back. So 3 years later, we were all paid back. The guy that had invested £88,000, we bought him out for £80,000. So in 3 years, he turned his 8 to 80. But I tell you what, that 80 was worth paying because he taught us everything about the financial side of the business and, how to look after that side of the business. So like you're saying, we grow we learn by doing. We're hairdressers fundamentally, and we learn to be business people.
Yeah, and then on top of that, so the main focal point for me at the minute is obviously survival, and then the second part of this problem is where are hairdressers going these days? Because I've seen how many people are in the ID team every year? Probably 30 new people every year, roughly.
Roughly 30. Yeah.
So there's 30 people selected. We'll go into the ID team later for people that don't know what it is. But there's 30 people selected from around the UK, and then you have to audition, and then you go in, and in that 30 people, which I would say are incredible hairdressers, and a lot of the people that you see on your Instagrams, if for people that are watching, and winning awards, have all come from a pedigree of things like the L'Oreal ID team.
Yeah, I mean, other manufacturers have them as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've experienced the L'Oreal one, but
Yeah,
yes, I
sorry,
agree.
Thank you, mate, for getting me out of that one. But yeah, it's true, right? So we've got 30 people there. Now, I can tell you, I haven't kept in touch with all of them, but I can tell you of 4 people within my year group of that are either in different avenues of hairdressing,
Yeah,
or out of hairdressing completely.
yeah.
Now, these guys have been put on a program that has turned, creatives into successful hairdressers, I would say. So why are people considering change of careers at the minute? Why is the industry struggling to keep hold of the hairdressers that we currently have, or not encouraging the next generation at least?
Do you mean pre-pandemic or during the pandemic?
We
Or
could do
both?
both. We could do both. We could do pre.
Well, one of the things I think about the pandemic that it's made people realise is they're not, and especially the generation that's coming through now, they're not so keen on working 12 hours a day behind a chair doing 10 or 12 clients a day 5 days a week. Then it's not they don't want to work hard, they do want to work hard, but they might want to do a little bit of hairdressing, then they might want to do some fitness, or they might want to work on their Insta profile, or they might want to do some education, or they might want to learn a new skill, go back to college and learn a new skill. I think they want variety. And I remember reading a book, maybe 15 years ago. It was like a marketing, it's called the Popcorn Report.
Okay.
And it was all about how, and it was talking 15 years ago, talking about people now will have portfolios of work. So I might earn 20% of my income from cutting hair. I might earn 20% of my income from yoga, teaching yoga. I might earn some money from doing Instagram lives, running a training course. So I'll have portfolios of work. I think that was happening before the pandemic.
Yeah, I do.
I think the pandemic has made people think, it's solidified in their mind, maybe I want to diversify and do other things.
Yeah, absolutely. The interesting point of that is I've got some notes I've made here, and one of them, out of 5 points that I've written down, one of them was hours. So, for example, are people struggling with this demand of clients, the demand of the business? Because, like you said, there isn't much profit left at the end. So, we need to make sure that we are firing on all cylinders in our salons and being available as possible to our clients. But yeah, do you think that the hours and the wages are reflective of the work that we do?
No,
I don't.
No, I mean, I think it's a highly skilled job being a successful hairdresser. When you look at the training that goes into it, and you look at what we have to deal with in terms of the people management, the skill of actually doing the hair, and then the time constraints around doing that. And we have to be nice and give great service, and we have to multitask. It is a really rewarding, but it's a hard job.
It is.
And I think the problem we've got as an industry, again, like I say, it's this fragmentation of the industry, is it's hard to charge what you're worth. And I know people in the industry say, well, we've got to put our prices up, we've got to be charging more, which I totally understand. But like you say, you're in Burnley, you suddenly say, look, I'm worth a lot more than this and I'm going to double my prices. What do you think would happen?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I won't say his name, but there's a guy who was in the same RD team who told me he worked at a huge salon in London, just won like Colour Trophy, big salon. And he said to me, sorry about my dog's barking in there.
Yeah, don't worry.
He said basically that he was charging £500 for full head of foils at the time, or something like that anyway. And then I was like, Christ, I'm charging sort of, I think it was at that point 5 years ago, I was charging like 80 quid for full head of foils, and then maybe try and squeeze a cut on the end if I didn't know him. What I mean? If you weren't the friend, if I didn't want to upset them or something. But that was difficult. And like you said, you become friends with them. And I do think, and I've written down here, that our industry is a confidence game. And if you're not feeling confident, you know, it affects everything. It affects the way you work. It affects the ability to ask for money. And it also affects the ability to keep that creative sort of spark and flair in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think hairdressers are some of the most intelligent people I've known, in terms of their people skills, their time management skills, their ability to multitask. Myself, um, I can't speak for everybody in the industry. I wasn't traditionally academic,
Yep.
so I think you get this message, subliminally, that maybe you're not good enough, and I think that affects on our self-esteem, and then that affects on our how we value ourselves and what we think our self-worth is. Yeah, and I do think, if clients understood that, for every 100 quid that they pay in, or say 120 quid, sorry, if a client pays 120 quid, straight away 20 quid goes off on VAT.
Yep.
And then what the hairdresser's left with is £10 pre-tax. So out of that 120 quid, they might be left with 8 quid. That profit, and then that's got to pay for refurbs. That's got to, there's not a huge margin in hairdressing.
No, there isn't. And so at the minute, we've all become money conscious, money driven, not obsessed in my certain things, but we've all become aware of we're actually not getting paid or we want more money. There's two ways of looking at it. How do we? Because I have a thing with my staff, and I don't know what you did, and I'm asking you because you're successful in your thing. I'm still learning. But my staff have all got a 5-year plan when they start, and it sounds ridiculous to say to hairdressers that all right, I've got 5 years, and they'll look at me like I'm mad. But it was Winning Ways, Chris from Winning Ways, who said to me that he wanted all his staff to be able to afford a house on their own. That was his sort of target.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't have a target for your staff, you can never improve the wages. Now, commissions, there's all these things, but we need to sort of say, right, by 5 years, I wanted all my staff on £500 a week because a labourer charges me at least £100 a day.
Yeah.
And some of them are unskilled. I'm talking like people coming clearing my shed out for me.
Yeah.
You know? So why is this industry struggling to pay them rates like every other industry seems to be able to do?
Again, it comes down to margin, Simon. But I tell you what, actually, it's very interesting. These two things might be linked. If I was to go out and try and find a builder to come and say do my patio, I'd really struggle.
Yeah.
Because they're busy. There's not enough of them, so it means that they can charge a higher price. So coming out the other side of this, maybe what will happen is there might be a shortage of hairdressers.
Yeah.
For the public, I don't mean for a salon owner, but for the public, there might be a shortage of hairdressers. So maybe this is the time to think, could we charge more for what we're doing? Could we educate our clients? Could we then subsequently charge more for the services we're providing? And I totally agree with you. It's not that we're money driven. It's like, if I want to live and I want to live a reasonable life, I need to earn a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
Not a lot of hairdressers are very artistic, so money to them is food, it's shelter, it's where they're going to live, it's if they've got kids, feeding their kids, it's having a holiday. It's not like they want to drive around in Rolls Royces, or they want to live and they want to have a nice life. And
yeah,
that is
you know what though, you're right there, because it's now we're at home and we're making home improvements. The whole world the lockdown has made home improvement mad. Like, I remember queuing up at lockdown 1 outside B&Q, trying desperately to not stand in the shade so I could get a bit of a tan because it was nice weather, for about 45 minutes. And I remember standing outside there, and like you said, the whole world's gone home improvement mad. And then all of a sudden we've realised, I want to keep doing this. I want these improvements to continue. And I want to keep earning money, because obviously we all got a massive grant, or we all got 80% wage for not working, and we don't. Yeah. We suddenly appreciated that we could have this all the time if we wanted it, but we've never thought about it. We've just kind of plodded along in the hamster wheel, as they call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I do agree with you there, mate. I do think that we've not become money oriented, but money conscious, and we're now realising our worth, because it's going to take some motivation to get us off our arses to go and do 12 hours on his feet again after lockdown.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think that's where salon owners. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know about you, but I'm one of these people. I watch whatever I watch or see or read. I always try and relate it back to hairdressing. And I watched a design program on TV last night. It was quite cheesy, but they were talking about redesigning offices.
Yeah.
And they set these three teams a task. And they said, because what the new offices have got to do is entice people to want to come back to work when they've been working at home.
Yeah.
And almost as salons, I think we've got to think, right, we've got to, if you're a salon owner, you've got to entice your team back in to wanting to come back into the salon rather than them deciding they want to go freelance.
That's
and that's the thing as a salon owner, that we have to adapt, and we have to. I'm not a salon owner anymore, but we have to adapt and we have to change and think, I can't do it the old way. I might have to adjust my team's hours so that they can go and drop the kids off, or they can pick up and then come back, or I think there's a lot to be looked at in the way that we're running our businesses.
Do you know what? There's a couple of points, and I'm going to sort of bring it in because everyone watching this, if you are watching it, and you are obviously still obsessed with hair, we are still in love with hair, and I want you to all just type why if you're still enjoying the chat, and tell me if you're still enjoying hairdressing, because this isn't a negative. I don't want this show to come across as a negative. This is addressing the situation so we can learn, because me and Simon were talking about it before, there's no negatives, it's just lessons. Well, that one. I wrote that down. So yeah, so I want to basically move forward from it. And just before I do, you said then about the office space. Now, in my town, which is a town that gets things probably 10 years after everybody else seems to get it, we have now gone to the way of London, where we've got offices. We've got old buildings turned into offices that you can community share. So
Yeah.
20 quid a day to 20 quid a week, depending on if you want to do a community hub. And is that is focusing entirely around the employee, because everything, they've got a bar in there, they've got beanbags, they've got corners, snugs, whatever words they want to use and analogies for trying to get the best out of people. Is that the way that we need to sort of concentrate? It's something I've just thought of now off the top of my head, but do we need to be more employee based instead of client based in our salons in the future?
I've always had that thought. Years ago, I read something by Richard Branson, and he said, we all say clients are the most important person in our business. Actually, our employees are, because they serve our clients. Without clients, no employees. Without employees, no clients. So we're interdependent. So of course, we got to look after our employees, and in turn, they will do the job directed by us of looking after our clients. But again, Simon, I think most hairdressers I know, along with loving hair, they love making people happy.
Yeah.
There's no better job satisfaction than doing somebody's hair, and at the end of it, they love it and they feel great.
True story.
That's the buzz, isn't it? I mean, for you, I still get that buzz. If I do a new client, which is rare, but if I do a new client, I'm passionate about winning them over and wanting them to love their hair.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's like that feeling that you get when you get them text messages and they go, "Hey, I just wanted to send you a message," and then you think, "Shit," and your heart drops. And it's always like, "Love me hair today, best haircut I've had," and you're like, that relief and that buzz, that adrenaline is infectious. It's addictive.
Yeah, it is, and I think, going back to your point about do we have to look after the team? There's a balance, there's a real balance. I liken our industry a bit to the restaurant industry. Being a chef is incredibly hard work and incredibly demanding hours, and they can be flexible to a point, but fundamentally they have to open the restaurant and they have to serve their diners meals, or they do what they're doing now and they do takeaway kits.
Yeah. Well, we can't do that. I mean, with people I've seen doing it, but I've not done it. I don't I don't agree with it like it's a moral conscious thing. I just don't agree that I could provide that service that I want to provide in that manner.
No, I mean, interestingly, isn't it? I've seen people in my local town adapt by dropping off top-up kits of tint, mixing up
Yep.
You know, and also providing takeaway shampoos, conditioners, and all that. And, you know, I've seen people do quite well doing that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
They have adapted and done that.
We on the
Now,
last
whether it's right
episode.
or wrong,
Oh, sorry, mate. I didn't mean to interrupt you then. But on the last episode, we had that lady called Faye Smith in Midlands.
yeah,
You know, she turned in. Oh, I can't remember the exact number now, but I think it was like £10,000 in retail.
yeah.
And I just think like that's a market I'm embarrassed to say I've not even looked at.
No. Well, and interesting, some of the software companies will allow you to do it online. You know, you can set up your shop through their software.
Yeah.
And I've known people do well with that. So, yeah, I think we have to adapt. I think we're going to have to adapt work if we want to keep people in the industry. You know, one of your questions was why are people leaving? And I'm presuming it's lack of it's the hours, it's the salaries, it's the lack of flexibility, and it's that maybe it's lack of status. You know, how are we seen out there by the public? You know, are we seen as, well, now actually maybe that's changing because public have been without us. Actually, I think we're probably valued more than we have been for a long time.
Yeah, well, I'm going to read a quote here from an hairdresser that's left the industry, who was quite high up in a big chain. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's the simple joys that are gone for me. Everyone wanted to be a name. The clients weren't the most important thing. I like smiles and happiness every day and a secure future. Secure future is an interesting point there. I don't even know whether that was a subconscious right there, but sorry, let me find out where we were. Yeah, a secure future, surrounded by like-minded people and a balance. The reason I'm reading this out now is because you just said this pretty much is what it is. So it's a balance, it's security, surrounded by like-minded people. Hairdressers seem to have been obsessed by hair. It can't just be a job. You always want more. It's not. Well, I won't read the next bit because I don't necessarily think that is on my opinion. But yeah, always wanted to be more and more and more, and it's not necessarily a balance anymore. Would you agree with that?
Some of it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, for that, you know, who wrote that is quite true. But I do see, to me, where we win and the positive out of that, and I see it in so many good salons, is that they create a sense of community, and we all want to belong to a community, and that's where, you know, freelance or when you know, all of that stuff, I think that's harder to create a community, whereas good salon owners create a feeling and a sense of, I'm not just going to work, I'm going to work in a community that values me, and I value being part of that community. So I agree with some of what that person said. And maybe in their particular position, you know, in the salon they were in or the group they were in, that was very true. I'm not sure that's reflective of the whole market.
No, good answer, mate. I like that answer. Interesting, because before we go, the reason sort of like I've put this in there is because you can't have an up unless you experience a down, and that's sort of true in this. You know, we can't move forward, we can't move up unless we address the negatives or experiences that people have had. Do you think, before we move on to the positives, because this leads us nicely to it, do you think this people wanting to leave is just us starving them of their creativity or not directing their creativity in the way it should be? Because these people that are successful within the industry never stop. They always want to move forward. They always want to find the next stepping stone. And do you think that the people that are thinking of leaving aren't getting what's the word that I'm looking for? But they're not being fed basically the desires in the industry, or not being led correctly?
I do think there's some of that. I think we have a fantastic opportunity as leaders in the industry to create opportunities for people to express their creative desires, or whatever it is. You know, if say I had a team of 10 people, and I look at, you know, you don't want 10 people that want to be up there on stage, or, you know, doing photo shoots, because it's not sustainable. But So some people will want to do that. Some people will want to do education, as in they want to learn skills more.
Yeah.
Other people might want to teach people in the salon what they're doing, what they've learned. Other people might just want to come in, do great service, be great with their clients, and do that. My role as a salon owner is to understand who I've got in front of me and what is going to motivate them.
Well, that makes me feel better, that, because I've got that experience right now as we speak. I've got 3 staff. I've got one who is sort of the top of her game in the salon. She's the one earning commission every week, and got probably an 80+% client base on the bracket she's in, and she's in the top bracket of the 3. Now, I've offered her everything that I've had, from our D team to coming to the Central St Martins, and that does not spark her. That doesn't light her fires. She doesn't enjoy it as much as just standing in a salon all day, every day. And then I've got the opposite side, where I've got a young lady who I said, if I could say to her, do you want to work 2 days a week? She'd be like, oh yeah, please. But she'd want to come to all these fashion events with me. She's very sort of eccentric. So I agree with you there. You've got to sort of find what each person has as an inspiration or a target.
See, I'm not sure people do leave industries because they decide to change. I think people leave because of not effective leadership. I think a lot of this is about leadership and how we lead our teams, and how we I don't think we motivate them as such, because I couldn't motivate you, Simon. If I could, if I was standing there and I had a stick and I said beat you every time I wanted you to do something, but I could provide the environment for you to grow and develop.
Yeah.
And I think that's what good leadership is about.
Well, then, in that, then I want to take my hat off to you then, because I had a bang on my head years and years ago. My short-term memory is horrific. So if I remember something, it's because it's important to me. And you sat there and spoke to me in that bar in Leeds, and we're going to go into the RD team now, the fellowship. And you sat there and spoke to me and said that L'Oreal's not like that. And I won't say what we're on about. You said they will find a role for you no matter what the situation is. Now, that stuck with me, and I've decided that not to wait for L'Oreal, for example, but for me to find my route in the industry no matter what the situation is. Hence, their socials and the community spirit that you just spoke about is what's built this. 14,000 people since lockdown have joined this page, and that's incredible. And I want to kind of go forward with that. So you are a good leader, because you were chairman of the fellowship.
Yeah.
And you was a mentor for the RD team.
Yeah.
You're still a mentor for the RD team, just incidentally.
Well, it's interesting, Simon. I don't think anybody knows yet what's going to happen after lockdown with that. I mean, a lot of changes at L'Oreal, as you know. People, as they do in big companies, people moving around, going to different roles. So I think it's the jury is out. But I tell you what, Simon, one of the things you and I talked about briefly, it's about the other thing about this industry is it's always changing, it's always adapting. So for me personally, what's happened for me now is I've picked up online coaching clients. So people who want to learn how to present, and they've come and said, will you teach me? Now, of course, I could have said, oh no, I only do it live and I only do it in the classroom. But no, I've started doing some coaching online. So who knows what will happen with the ID Artist team? Let's wait and see. The fellowship is interesting because the fellowship is completely all about our industry.
Yeah.
And the only people that are paid in the fellowship are people that work in the office. So I was chairman for 2 years. You don't earn any money from doing that.
No.
But it's one of the best things I've done in my life. You get to meet so many different people and see so many different opinions. They have project leaders. So Paul Dennison at the moment is Colour Project. Sam Burnett's just taken over Project X. Jamie Stevens is doing Fame Team. I can go on. Jonathan Andrews for men. They do that complimentary. There's no charge to it. They give all their time. And it's about making the industry better. People like Ken Picton, who's the president, Barry Stevens just taken over as chairman. They're all doing this not for a financial gain. They're doing it to put back into the industry and to keep raising the profile of our industry. And the fellowship offers amazing opportunities for like the girl that you were talking about, Simon, that is keen and go to all the fashion shows and everything like that. Fellowship is a perfect avenue for her. What age is she?
25, but she came into the industry only 3 years ago, so she's only just done a level 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, for her, it not an expensive option, and you get access to so much on the website and the knowledge platform. Yeah, amazing thing.
So I want to inspire the people and the next generation, and I want this to end on a positive. It's been quite sort of serious for now, but I want to basically say, if we're not sort of inspired by being behind the chair anymore, and having that time away from being behind the chair has made us realise this, there are millions, well, not millions, but that's ridiculous, but there are plenty of opportunity around in our industry that doesn't involve just standing and cutting 20 people's hair a day if you're a good busy salon. And the fellowship is a testament to that. I want you to basically just say like what your career has done and how you've changed it, because you're now the sort of gone from the chairman of the fellowship. I know you're not doing that now, but that is something that no one would have thought about, and maybe people are only just hearing about these other avenues, and I want to inspire that generation.
Yeah, so I mean, my career went from, like I say, barbershop, video sassoon, opened my own salon, sold the salon, massive change, started up an education company. I mean, if you think about it at the moment, loads of people are opening education companies. I did this 12 years ago, out of necessity, really. When I first started, I was doing hair cutting training. I'm a sassoon trained person, so I was educating people in how to cut hair. Then I realized that market was getting flooded, so I changed and became presentation skills became my thing. Then I realized I knew quite a lot about how to run a salon, so salon training became my thing. Then I realized coaching people, whether it be in their hairdressing business or their personal life, was a big thing. So it's constantly adapting. So the fellowship, I got involved with the fellowship. They run projects, the fellowship. So I did Club Star, which was the under 25 bits. And then I got on the council of the fellowship. And then I just gradually, over a 10-year period, worked my way up and then became chairman for 2 years. You do 2 years on that. I know people that used to work for me, they're doing like 2 days in the salon. They're doing then fashion shows and they're doing shoots. I know people that are doing TV work. I know people, like we were talking earlier about Jack Howard, for instance. He's created this niche for himself where he's painting hair and doing balayage, but he's made it I don't know, he's made a real platform for himself. The one thing I would like to say though, Simon, is on the positive, I think to be successful in any arena of life, we need to work at a certain level. I mean, we need to look after our mental health and we need to look after our well-being, but you can't get away from the fact there isn't a degree of hard work. And whichever avenue you take, you have to give it your all to make it work, to make it really successful. And that doesn't mean success looks like being famous. It means success looks like doing the best you can do whatever you're doing.
So it was Steve at L'Oreal that said it to me, and he said, be exceptional at one thing instead of good at everything. Now, as much as I've took that on board, and Jack Howard is a perfect example of that. He's exceptional at what he does, and his audience are captivated by it. He doesn't have to change it up. He doesn't have to mix it up and throw in crazy colours in there just to get the views and the likes, because he's exceptional at what he does. But the problem with just living on that one saying is, it's important to remember you still need to evolve. And as you said there, be exceptional at what you do, but evolve with it. You've changed the way you present to education, to mentorship, to then to being a chairman of the thing. You have evolved, but all within the same thing of you feel like you've got something to give to other people to inspire them. And I think that's
and the other great thing is, Simon, I still feel like I've got tons to learn.
exactly that's
So
amazing. That
it's brilliant. I mean, I love it. That's one of the best things about the fellowship. I learned so much from a lot of people in that organisation.
well, I kind of I kind of want to wrap it up because I've taken a lot of your time, but I want to sort of finish it off and say that there are other avenues in hairdressing, and I'm so sure Simon Shaw will be happy to help you if you message him on Instagram. I think it's Simon Shaw Education, is it?
Yes, right. Yeah, more than happy to talk to anybody anytime.
Yeah, myself included. The fellowship, I'm not actually a part of the fellowships. I'm not advertising it for my own gain or anything like that. It is something that I've always wanted to do, but being up in the north and having other commitments at the time, couldn't get the most out of it because there's a lot of shows to do, there's a lot of things to go to. But it's something I've been obsessed with wanting to do, but never actually got around to doing it. So maybe that should be my New Year's res.
Well, I'll tell you what, Simon, just interestingly, again, the fellowships responded to the pandemic. So much of it more has gone digital.
Yeah.
There's a massive load of stuff on there that you would get benefit from now. Anyway, listen, I'll be contacting you about that. Don't worry.
Oh, amazing! Thank you so much. Well, I want to basically say, yeah, come to me, come to Simon, two Simons here, and explain what you are struggling with, what avenues you might want to go into, and I'm sure we can help. Because for me, just to sort of surmise my sort of career, I have gone from wanting to be equal. I wanted to do what everybody else could do, and being told all the way through school, oh, why don't you do this, when I wanted to be a footballer and I couldn't walk, or I wanted to be a builder and I can't carry things. And that was always sort of my attitude, well, why can't I do it? Now, this industry has given me a level playing field. I am equal to anybody else. I've got the same opportunities as everybody else. In fact, it's almost celebrated to be a little bit different and unique in this industry, which is not what many other industries can say. I've gone on to work with football. I always wanted to be in football. I've gone to events. I've travelled to Russia, France, many other little countries that I never thought I'd even heard of or seen in my life. Because I wanted to be involved in football, and I got to do that by cutting their hair. So this industry for me was never about sort of necessarily standing behind the chair. It was about getting to the goal of being in football. Now, even if you don't think that hair is necessarily, you want to be a dancer, you might not be able to be a dancer because you've got two left feet, but you could do the hair for being a dancer because you're obviously a creative person. So yeah, I kind of just want to say there are many avenues in this industry, and I've been lucky. I'm sure Simon will say, you do create your own look to a degree, but you still got to put yourself in them positions to get it. And I just want to encourage the next generation, and if I can do that in any way, shape, or form, by saying I didn't think I could even physically do this job, and look where I've got to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things, Simon, is it's mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that you faced a lot of challenges, as have a lot of people, and it's the mindset to keep going.
Exactly.
And to follow your dream. I mean, hairdressing is, to my mind, a fantastic career. Job satisfaction, second to none. And I think, like you say, tons of avenues to go down. There isn't just standing behind the chair, which, again, like I say, when I say just standing behind the chair, I should say there isn't only standing behind the chair. There's loads of other, shoots, seminars, shows, like you say, doing the footballer's hair, getting involved in sport, you could get involved in dance, you could get involved in film and TV. It's possible.
Exactly. I wanted to be David Beckham, and that was never going to happen. So I thought, well, maybe I could do his hair one day. Now that's the only thing on my checklist I've not done. It was the England team, Burnley team, X Factor, and David Beckham's hair. So I've only got one more to go. So I need to get myself to Miami. But
yeah, you do.
I will do it. I'm going to do it one day. But thank you so much for giving me your time.
Thank you, Simon.
No, you're welcome, mate. You've been a sort of an inspiration to me. You're one of the few people that I've looked up to in. Well, not few people, a lot of people. You're one of the people that I've looked up to for inspiration and guidance, and I thank you so much for your time, mate.
And brilliant. And listen, well done on your career.
Oh, thanks, pal. I'm trying.
Fantastic job.
Still going.
Yeah, keep going.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Great.
much.